On this week's show, can you really buy a house for free?
In the news, UK house prices are rising at the fastest rate on record.
And we're going to be answering all your property-related questions.
Welcome to the Property Investors Podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss an upload. You can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Enjoy this week's show and don't forget to share it with all your friends.
Hi, I'm Russell Leeds.
Hey, I'm Alasdair Cunningham.
And welcome to the Property Investors Podcast.
Yeah.
How you doing, my friend?
I'm very good, very good. What have you been up to?
Tell me one thing you've done in the last week that's exciting. Are you ready? Go.
Rent-to-rent revolution.
Yeah, but you haven't actually done that. You're doing that tomorrow. Tell me one thing you've done in the last week that's exciting.
Last week, went to the post office and got my ID verified. That was really exciting.
That's the most exciting thing you've done all week.
Hold on, let me think. What have we been up to last week? So crash course, viewed a couple of houses, met a joint venture partner.
If you haven't seen Alasdair at the crash course, you definitely should go, by the way. Book on.
Yeah, book on, go, because
he is
I'm a hoot.
Legendary. As you can see, he shares some of the things he's been up to in the last week, and it's just like full of post offices and all sorts.
Do you know, interestingly, I did have I was like, okay, so I've got a nice car, right? And I've also we know we've got a few driving issues going on. Not you, because you're back on the road now, but I'm getting close, okay, to having to let somebody borrow my license for 6 months, okay? I'm getting close. I'm only 3 points away. And we were going to crash course.
You mean I'm not having driving issues?
No, you're not anymore. You got it back.
I'm driving. I'm fine. No issues. No problems.
You did have some issues, quite serious issues. But anyway, they're sorted now.
I didn't. I just liked catching the train for 6 months.
You just had to get the train for 6 months.
Train and Uber, man. Uber's amazing.
Right, anyway. So we were in Manchester at the crash course the other day. And I didn't get there till like 1 o'clock in the morning because we were various meetings. And me and Ricky, I was driving, I brought Ricky up, but we got lost. So I was getting a bit, I'm chilled when I don't care. If I'm lost, I'm lost. Put it in the sat nav. We ended up going down a dual carriageway, and there was a bus lane on the inside lane. And I didn't even know. It was 2 o'clock in the morning. I wasn't really paying attention. And then,
as you do when you're driving,
all of a sudden, on the other side of the road, camera flashes at me. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness.
It's not 3 points for a bus lane, though.
Well, hold on. I didn't know I was in a bus lane at this point. So all I assumed, camera flashing. And I'm like, oh, well, that's me done. I'm going to lose my license. And thankfully, the letter come through the post the other day. It was a bus lane fine.
30 quid fine.
60 quid, yeah. 60 quid fine for going in the bus lane. And I thought, that's the quickest, easiest £60 I've ever given away. Because I was so pleased. Yeah.
I got done for going through a bus lane.
Did you?
Years and years and years ago. When I was about 17. And I was driving down the bus lane and I saw a police officer on foot behind me. And I saw him see me and he started running after me. So I pretended I hadn't seen him and carried on driving. And then got stopped at lights. And I was there at the lights. So I saw him running. I was thinking, change. but it didn't. And he came, knocked on the window. And I was like, oh,
hello.
hello. And he's like, do you realise you're driving on a bus lane? I was like,
am I?
oh, yeah. He's in Warsaw. Do you know where the bus station is down the town? Yeah, so.
And also, interestingly,
I got £30 fine.
While we're talking about fines, being in London, like we sort of tend to park pretty much wherever we want to.
Do you know what he does? Literally.
True.
He doesn't pay for parking. He reckons he gets caught about 1 in 4.
1 in 4,
and
1 in
it's
5 times.
cheaper just to take the fine. It's 60 quid for a fine.
£60.
It's like 30 quid to park all day.
Yeah.
So as long as you don't get caught half the time. It's
I parked. We're at our offices at the minute. I parked out in the main street. It's permit only. I parked there yesterday. Got a ticket. But last 4 times I've parked and I parked there for like 6 hours. I've never got a ticket. So I got a ticket yesterday, 60 quid. But if I parked in the NCP round the corner, I would have spent at least 120. So to me, it's bargain, right? But I did have to pay all my tickets the other day. I had 6 tickets that I had to pay, and because I forgot to do them in the 14 days, you got to then pay 120. So that's the problem. You have to be on it. Obviously, I advise parking legally, but sometimes I just, you know what it's like when you're really busy. You've got to go somewhere, you've got to be somewhere, you've got all these meetings. Sometimes it's easier just to dump your car wherever you can get a space and deal with it later. So I had to pay all my parking tickets. So that was funny. Yeah.
Anyway, so there you go. So Alasdair has been to the post office, and I'm sure he parked illegally while doing it as well. So there you go.
Did.
Lesson for you.
Yeah,
right. So this week, can you buy a house for free? A lot of people, we're talking about no money down deals, buying a house for free. So we thought we'd delve into lease options today. How does it work? Are you really buying a house for free? Is it really a no money down deal? How do you get these deals? Are they easy to? There's lots of questions. Now you're someone who has done quite a lot of these deals.
I've done a few of them. Yeah, I've done a few.
When
I've got
you
a bit of
started
experience.
with us. Obviously you came through the academy. You're a student.
Of course I am.
Came through the academy. Left us a really good review.
I was very happy with the academy. It taught me everything I needed to know.
Then ended up working with us and being really successful.
Yeah.
Etc. But when you started, you didn't have very much money, and lease options was something.
Yeah.
That you really
So
focused on.
it was my thing. I looked into it. I was also doing that combined with deal sourcing.
Yep.
Became very successful at it. I put the effort in, and I got success and I got results, but not through not trying. I put a lot of effort in, a lot of effort. You know how much effort I put in the start.
Well, the thing is, any strategy like a lease option, rent to rent, deal sourcing, knowing how to do it, it's not a magic. It's not a lottery ticket.
No, it's not.
You've got to put the work in.
Anyone can make this sound difficult, okay? But let's get to the crux of property investing. It's actually simple, right? Is it easy? No, it's hard work. Are you prepared to put the hard work in? That's the question you've got to ask yourself.
But it's what I was saying, isn't it? It's easy to do.
It's easy not
but it's
to.
even easier not to.
It's like habits, isn't it? Bad habits. We all want to lose weight and be healthier.
Is going to the gym easy?
Yeah. No. Well, it is.
It is. It's easy.
But, yeah.
But a lot of people don't do it.
Yeah, but it's like people want to lose weight, people want to eat a healthier lifestyle, whatever. It involves changing a habit, and the reality is most people want it up here, but they don't want it in there enough. So they're saying to themselves, "I want it," but they're not prepared to do whatever it takes to get there and to get it.
Whatever
it takes. They have to sacrifice.
That should be a saying for you.
Yeah.
You should write a book or something.
I think I've said it once or twice. And my point being is, when I first started, I didn't have loads of money. I started the academy with not a lot of money. I put the academy on my credit card. My choice. I had good credit. I had no debt, but I didn't. I had like $4,000 to my name. So I paid a couple of grand down, put the rest on credit card, and then I decided because it stung, because it was a big investment, big investment, because it stung, big investment. I got out there and I made it work. There was nobody who was going to stop me making it work, and I was pushing people out the way. I was doing what I had to do to make it work. Now, my strategy was deal sourcing because I didn't have loads of money. Now, when you're out doing deal sourcing, you're out doing what? What are you doing when you're deal sourcing?
You're finding deals.
You're finding deals.
You're speaking to agents.
You're
putting
speaking
yourself
to
in the game.
vendors. You're getting yourself in the game. Boots on the ground. You're out there and you're not just sitting behind Rightmove, looking at computers, building spreadsheets. You're out in the streets, in the trenches, so to speak. Looking at properties, looking at viewings, meeting agents, doing everything like that. And
getting your hands dirty.
Getting your hands dirty, of course. Property investing is a hands-on, dirty game. And when you get out there, you're meeting people, you're talking to people, you're hearing about their problems, you're hearing about why they're selling, why they can't sell, why they're in negative equity, you're hearing all this sort of stuff. And when you're hearing this situation, you come from a position of, I'm trying to help, as opposed to I'm trying to take. And if you come from that position, you'll get lots of deals. And you can help a lot of vendors when you're in that situation, when we have the knowledge. The academy gave me the knowledge. I went out and implemented. I met agents, I met vendors who were in bad, tricky situations with regards to negative equity. We talked about it on last week's show. There's houses that have been on the market since 2005. 14 years, 15 years.
When Alasdair was just a teen.
Yeah. My point being is, if you can go to these people and offer them a situation or a solution, there's a reason why it's been on the market for that long.
Right. I agree with what you're saying.
Good.
A lease option.
Yeah.
So there's a house.
Yeah.
They basically say to you say to them, look, I will take over the house.
Yeah.
I'll become the landlord, but you still own it.
Yeah.
I'll pay the mortgage payments. I'll make any profit make off the rent.
Yeah.
And then in 5 years, I will buy it off you for X.
Yeah.
But it's a lease option agreement, not a lease obligation
100%.
agreement. It was brought in originally for land.
Yep.
And it also works for houses as well. It's totally illegal and totally above board. But
Totally
legal, sorry.
It sounded like you said illegal.
That's because I did.
Okay.
But yeah, I meant legal. It's totally legal and totally above board, but there's only specialist solicitors that do it. There's a few in the country that you need to speak to that can arrange it and everything. So, great deal on paper. for you and for them.
Well, it has to be. If it's good for you and bad for them, it's not a good deal. Because we're not... Listen, we are coming from a position of help. We talk about... Treat these people... If you're doing a lease option with a vendor who happens... Like, generally, the only people that will generally agree to doing a lease option are people that are in a bad situation. Negative equity, maybe they can't sell, maybe the property needs work, they can't afford to do it, whatever. So they're generally in a bit of a bad situation. So,
or the other thing that you often get is someone that just doesn't want to deal with the property.
Yeah.
So like, so let's say for example they get an inheritance property and they're like, I can't really bother to do anything. I just want to sell
100%.
it. And then you go, you could sell it now, and you probably get 130 for it.
Yeah.
Or you could sell it to me in 5 years. You'll make £100 a month, which is, I don't know what that would be. £100 a month. 1,200.
6,000 a year. 6,000.
It's not 6,000. I think about £6,000. Yeah, it's an extra 6. Plus you get 140. You make an extra 15 grand for doing nothing over the 5 years.
And they still own the asset.
Yeah.
So they still, on paper, own the asset. So if in 3 years you vanish because you've whatever, they still own that asset, which has gone up in value. Yes, they might have to deal with it again, but they've made all the profit, and they've got the increase in equity that they now have.
The thing is, it's interesting because when I remember when I sort of first got into property, I was like, who would want to do a lease option? Why would they not just rent it out? Yeah. But people don't want the hassle. People are coming from it.
Don't worry about why people.
You got to remember that people are coming from a very, very different situation. So you got, they might have loads of money, they just don't want the headache.
Yeah.
I know people that buy properties and then their strategy is to just put it out on a rent to rent.
Yeah.
Because they want the asset, but they don't want the hassle. You've got those Saudi princes who buy properties in London and just leave it because they want the asset. They don't care about the cash flow.
Yeah, they don't need
so
to.
You don't, just because you care about the cash flow, because you're trying to get into property, you're in a very different situation to them. They might be on 100 grand a year as a solicitor and just can't be arsed.
Can't be bothered with it. I've always said, don't worry too much about why somebody does something, because it's for them, it suits them.
Why do people buy? Like you might be thinking, why do people buy Rolex watches?
I was going to say the exact same thing. A watch is a watch. Yeah, it tells you the time. So why do people go out and spend 100 grand on like a Rolex or like a Patank or whatever it is, whatever? Like all these really expensive fancy watches. I'm not into watches. I like Rolexes. Richard Mille. Why do people go out and spend
£1 million on a watch?
Of course, yeah. Who would do that? Don't worry about why they would
go into a shop and come out looking like Hugo Boss had thrown up on them.
We've actually just checked. Right, okay. This is true. So, Hugo Boss. And it's not, it's because
belt.
My belt's Hugo Boss and my boxers are Hugo Boss and my socks are Hugo Boss. Today I'm like a Hugo Boss slightly overweight model, but it's because I've just been in the Bicester Village. Like Bicester Village is banging, mate. All the bargains.
Literally, you look like Hugo Boss has thrown up on you.
Yeah.
You've walked. Hugo Boss has like vomited his clothes at you, and you just.
Yeah, anyone would think I'm sort of subsidised or sponsored by them, but I'm really not. I don't think they want a slightly overweight model, so I'm all good. But it is true. So anyway, but yeah, who would? A jumper's a jumper. Jeans are. Don't worry about why people do what they do.
No.
Just accept that's what they do. So don't worry about why somebody would have let you do a lease option. Just accept it. That's what they want. Your job is to make sure it's done properly, it's make sure it's done legally, to make sure you're not taking advantage of anybody.
A lot of people see properties as a headache.
Many people do. I do sometimes. Jeez, man. So I've got an issue with one of my properties at the minute where we've got a letting agent managing it, and they took over from a previous letting agent, and that previous letting agent didn't do a very good job. Like they didn't transfer they didn't give them any of the paperwork, they didn't give them any of the keys.
Was it a HMO?
It was a HMO. So they didn't give them any of the keys. So they've got no keys for any of the rooms. They've got a front door key and that's it. So I've got one set of keys. So I've now got to go and get all the keys cut, and I've got to send them up in the post to them, so they can access the rooms. And it's like, it's headache.
Yeah.
And I just don't want it. So I'm the sort of person.
Would you do rent to rent on your HMOs?
Probably, yeah.
There you go.
I probably would. To be honest, I'm buying a couple of deals at the minute, and I might just let them go and rent to rents. And just get as long as I'm making profit on the mortgage, I want the assets.
But the thing is, you because obviously being a deal sourcer, you can buy your own property and then sell the rent to rent deal.
Yeah, through the list, but you'd obviously have to be completely transparent that it's my deal. You have to be completely transparent who owns the deal.
Well, how is that being? It's not like that's immoral or anything.
No, it's not moral. You just have to you have to be super transparent. That
I personally own this property. I'm offering it on a rent to rent.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so I could do that very easily, and it would snap up like that.
Yeah,
I could do it with all my properties like that, and I'd have my arms bitten off.
But see, because you're in a different situation now, whereas you've got all, I can make a bit more cash flow if I managed it myself, but I don't want to.
It's a lot of hassle. It is a lot of hassle especially if I'm we're both very busy.
Well, especially as you used to live up north, well, further north now, and now you live in London.
Yeah.
So it's further away. If you do have to go, it's 100%. More. So you could do that.
But yeah, lease options are essentially.
You're very, very busy visiting post offices, parking illegally. There's so much stuff you could be doing with your time rather than cutting keys.
Yeah. Anyway, so I bet you when I go and get my keys cut, I'll probably have to park illegally for that because, like, I don't. Where do you get keys cut anymore? Like
Timpsons.
See?
Timpsons.
See what I mean? Like,
we're advertising Timpsons as much as we are Hugo Boss.
Yeah. Okay, so lease option, essentially, you take control now with the option to buy in a fixed period of time. That might be 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, whatever. You take over control of the property. Completely, help yourself.
Thank you.
Completely legal, completely above board. Right, one thing, there's a couple of points you need to be very, very sort of clear on here. You must have the solicitors draw up contracts.
So that costs about £1,000.
It costs about £1,000 for if you use the contract the solicitor we recommend, it's about £1,000. That's for the representation of the seller. So you pay for their legal fees, they pay, etc.
And you don't have it. You just have one solicitor.
You have one. No. So the solicitor you'll use will represent the vendor, and then you need a solicitor to represent your side of the contract. Now, the solicitor we recommend, he can actually do both sides because two separate departments do both sides. Yeah. They represent. So in total legal fees, my last one I done was about £1,500. So £1,000 for the buyer and £500 from my side. About £1,500. Now, you need to make sure there's enough profit in the deal every month to make it worthwhile. Samuel recommends £200. I personally will only do a lease option if I can make it into a HMO. I'm not interested in doing lease options into single lets because there's generally not enough left in it. There's not enough cash flow.
The thing is, the beautiful thing about lease options, and this is where the whole can you buy a house for free comes in. Let's say you do a HMO, right, and you're making £500 a month profit.
Yeah.
And you do it for 4 years. £500 a month for 4 years. How much is that?
That's what I was just going to do. Can we do a real life example? Use real life figures.
No, let's use fake figures.
Okay.
I'm only joking.
Right, fine. So I've got a lease option agreement, which my total investment into the deal, my total money in was £4,732. That was my total money in, including legals, everything. So just be clear, that was my total money.
And that was including your refurb,
including a light refurb, £4,732. So remember that number. Now I make approximately £550, £600 a month, depending on various things.
Let's do 550.
Let's just do 550, yeah? So I'm going to make 550 a month for that, and I've got that for 60 months. So I'm going to make £33,000 over the 6 months, the 5 years. Take away my 4,732, so a total profit of 28,268, give or take.
And how much
so
deposit?
Let's just hold on. Let's just knock off 10%, just to be conservative. So let's just say I make 25k.
Yeah.
Over the 5 years. Now,
knock off a little bit more than 10% then.
Why?
It's 25. You've knocked off an extra 500 quid, haven't you? But yeah, be conservative.
£25,000 approximate, yeah?
Yep.
Right. Now, the house I can buy for 122, I think it was. It's 121 thereabouts. Can't remember. I've got a few of them. So I'm going to need, divide that by 25, I'm going to need a £30,000 deposit in 5 years' time. However, when you go to buy it, you can't use a standard buy-to-let. You have to use either bridging or cash. Because with mortgages, you can't have a previous relationship with the purchaser, so it's technically mortgage fraud. If you won't get mortgage for it. Okay, so you have to use bridging or cash purchasing. Now, I can buy it for 122. It will be worth about 160, 165. It's already worth 135 because I know there's been a house in the same street sold for 135. So it's going to be worth 160, 170. So let's just say, comes to 5 years' time, I want to buy it. How am I going to buy it? I haven't got £122,000. What do I do? How do I raise the money? because obviously I want to buy this, but I don't have the money. I'm not going to have £30,000 for. Sorry, that's irrelevant. I'm not going to have the money to put £122,000 into it. I'm going to have.
Well, you should probably have about 30 grand, won't you?
I'll have about 30k.
But you'll have saved
so
up.
I can get a bridge for 60%. So let's just say 122 times 0.60. Take away 122. 40. I need a £49,000 deposit. So I'd have to raise 20 grand because I'll have 20 grand. Now, if I went, I could just by knowing. Bless you. Just by knowing people, we talk about property being a people's business. Bless you.
Thank you.
And we talk about getting to know everybody. So if you went to an investor and said, "Hey, I've got this amazing deal. There's straight away £40,000 to £50,000 equity in it. We can buy it today, refinance it onto a buy-to-let mortgage in a couple of months. Do you want to go halves on it? And we'll split the profit and get them to put the money in." There's so many ways to get creative about things like this. But as we teach, right, and we say all the time, don't worry about down the line, because that's a problem to look at down the line. Worry today about finding the deals. Worry today about securing them right and correctly so they're secure and they're safe for when you come to purchase. And then at the time, if you're in a position to buy it, buy it. If not, you give the vendor 12 months notice. And then you enforce your rights to exit the contract. Yep. Obviously, there'll be penalties for that. All my contracts.
It depends what goes in the contract.
Well, all my contracts have an exit penalty because I don't want them to be in a worse situation. So what I say is,
but they won't be.
Yeah, but no, but I just don't want them to. I want to make sure I'm looking right after them. Okay, so in 4 years' time, what I say to them is, look, in 4 years' time, we have a meeting, we discuss what's going to happen, and I'll give them my what I'm going to do. I'm going to say yes, I'm going to buy, or no, I'm going to walk away. But I'll enforce the exit clause. Now, the exit clause basically says I'll give them, if I decide to not complete the contract, I'll basically give them £3,000 and I'll give them 12 months notice that I'm going to leave. And that way, that £3,000 covers their legal costs to sell the house. But then they'll keep the equity. I won't touch the equity. So listen,
I don't even think you need to put that in. But
I know you don't. I know you don't. But it's up to you.
Because all you've done, if you don't want to complete, all you've done is looked after the house for 4 years, paid them a monthly fee, and then the house will have risen. They can sell it in a better position.
Of course they are. Look, every situation is different. Every property is different. Every vendor is different. A lease option is essentially a blank sheet of paper. You sit down and you say, "What do you want? What do I want? Can we agree something? Mm-hmm. Do it together. Get it legally drafted by a proper solicitor."
But in essence, if you do it right, you can earn the money from it to pay for the house down the line.
Yes, you absolutely can. Absolutely can. And if you can't, who do you know can help you do that? Because property is about people. It's about talking to people. It's about getting to know people. If I come to you and said, "Ross, give me 50 grand. We're going to buy a house tomorrow. There's 60 grand equity. I'll give you 30 grand in return. So you'll get your 50 back plus 30. Do you want to do it?"
Yes.
Of course. But I wouldn't do that. Because I just wouldn't.
Right, it's now time for this.
Okay, in the news this week, it's another property price.
Do you know what I'm looking forward to about?
What's that?
I'm looking forward to going to Edinburgh.
I am.
To do the crash course.
Crash course, March. Banging. Can't wait, mate. It's in the ICC as well.
How is it?
Yeah.
How close to that is where you used to live?
About an hour. I'll take you there if you want to come up a day early. I'm going to go. My parents have just moved back to up to Scotland, so they moved to Stranraer. And I'm going to go up probably a couple of days early and just go...
Stranraer?
Middle of nowhere, mate. Literally.
Sounds like French or something, not Scottish.
Yeah, it is in the middle of nowhere. It's like 45 minutes to civilization. Middle of nowhere, but they love it. So for them, it's
all
good.
All the Scottish people will have to come and see you.
Yeah, mate. If you're coming to Crash Course in Edinburgh, I'll be there. Come on, let's have some Scottish power. Show you English boys.
Isn't that a company, Scottish Power?
It is, actually, yeah. I want to see everyone there in kilts. That's what I want. Maybe I'll go on stage in a kilt. I don't know.
Mate, can you do that?
Maybe. I don't know. It depends if you guys...
Does Hugo Boss sell kilts?
Does Hugo Boss... I was going to say, can we get a Hugo Boss one? I don't know,
He won't need his Hugo Boss underwear if he's got a kilt.
Nah. True Scot don't need underwear, bro.
Why is
just
that?
An elastic band to tie to the leg.
Why do that? Like, if there's one thing I'd want to wear underwear in, it's a dress. Do you know what I mean?
Dude, it's not a dress. Don't say it's a dress.
Skirt.
Don't say it's a skirt.
It is a skirt.
It's a military dress.
A military what?
Dress.
There you
Military, but put military in front of it.
It's still a dress.
Dude, seriously.
It's like Hugo Boss jumper. It's still a jumper.
Guys, come on. Please don't wait for him outside the building because he called it a skirt.
Do they have pockets?
No, not really, no.
Don't know. They have that stupid little belt, don't they?
A sporting.
No, little bag. Is there a little?
It's like a man bag.
It's like a man bag. So you have a bag and a dress.
You're gonna get lynched. You are gonna get lynched when we go Scotland, mate.
So you have a little bag and a skirt. It's a skirt. It's not a dress. It's a skirt, isn't it? Because it starts here. Where a dress would. Is that right? It does start here, doesn't it?
It starts. Yeah, it comes up to your waist.
Yeah, so it's a skirt.
But we also have a dagger. I can't remember the name of the dagger.
You need a dagger.
No, yes, to fight off you English.
To fight off everyone taking the piss at you.
Hold on.
It's like if we don't have a dagger, people are just going to take the piss.
I can't remember the name of the knife. Hold on. It's I want to say skin. Sorry, fellow Scots. I can't access. Oh, I'm gonna have to get my hotspot on again.
It's checked, isn't it?
No, my hotspot.
What's your family?
McDonald. Be careful.
What?
Just be careful, isn't it?
I'm not
Hold
saying
on. I've lost. Why is the internet so rubbish up here?
What's the question? My internet's on.
Okay.
What's
I can't get to my news article.
What's the kilt?
Hold on. There we are. It's a. Oh man, I can't. Ski and do.
Oh my goodness! You don't even know when you've got it there.
Gaelic.
Oh
okay.
my! Yeah, days. It's spelled very strangely.
It is. Yeah. Ski and do.
Ski and do.
Yeah.
But skiing is spelled SGIAN and then DUBH. My goodness.
Anyway.
Skagenduba.
Yeah, you'll be saying that when you've.
And you put that in your big. You got hockey socks. I forgot about the sock.
The hockey socks.
Big long socks.
Guys,
have you ever worn one?
Hopefully he's not coming. I reckon he'll be staying in England because he'd be too scared to come. But
McDonald family kilt.
McDonald family clan, yeah.
Clan,
bro. Clan.
So what's the what's your pattern?
It's quite a dark quite dark pattern, but it's nice.
Is it like is it like tartan?
Well, it's all tartan, isn't it? McDonald tartan. Just type in McDonald tartan.
I've got it there. There it is. It's like that.
Yeah. So
dark green and red.
That's not the tartan I would wear if I was going to wear one anyway, because I'd wear the Cunningham. Anyway, right. Let's get back to the news. After the whole nation of Scotland has been insulted by Russell Leeds.
I'm not insulting you. I mean, I quite like the skirt.
Oh, dude, stop calling that a skirt. Right, okay.
The military skirt.
Military dress. Right, okay, fine. Listen, guys. So, news articles very similar to last week's, but I think it's such a hot topic because elections over and done with. There's a bit more certainty with Brexit, all that sort of rubbish. House prices are now recovering. We always said this, that house prices, once there was a bit more certainty, would rise. And news articles coming out. UK house prices have rose over the last month at the fastest ever rate on record for this time of the year, and sellers are more confident from the outlook of the housing market after the general election, according to Rightmove. The average price of properties coming in the market jumped by 2.3%, the biggest rise for this period since property website started its house price index in 2002. 65,000 UK properties were marketed over the month of January, with an average asking price of £306,810.
There you go.
It is on the up.
Good news for property investors.
Yeah.
Is it on the up in Scotland? Not the kilt on the up. That wouldn't be good. No underwear. But is it on the up in Scotland as well?
Yeah. I think across the country prices are going up. So.
Well, it's not in the country, is it? Remember, they've got their own little country.
Yeah, but they're still part of the UK.
It's not country.
I know it's okay. It's still part of the UK, but so anyway, UK wide. So actually, it says here. Look, hold on. First-time buyers are facing record high prices to get on the property ladder. So obviously, they're the people that will suffer from this.
What's the difference between the UK and Britain?
United Kingdom, Britain. I don't know actually. Commonwealth. I don't know. What is it?
Well, one of them includes Ireland, doesn't it? But I can't ever remember which one. I think the United Kingdom is Scotland, Wales, and England.
Hold on. The United Kingdom is
Britain.
No, the United Kingdom.
Does that include Ireland as well? Southern Ireland, which doesn't get counted. It's just
Northern Ireland.
Northern Ireland.
The United Kingdom. I keep losing internet.
United Kingdom, I think, includes
Oh, let
Northern
me jump
Ireland.
on the back of my phone. United Kingdom is Scotland, England, Northern Ireland, and Wales.
And then Britain doesn't include Ireland.
We could end up making ourselves sound very stupid. Nick, do you know?
Yeah, United Kingdom is Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Yeah.
Great Britain, Northern Ireland, yeah.
Whereas Great Britain is just Scotland,
It's a sovereign,
England,
yeah.
and...
Okay,
So
so
Ireland not sovereign.
there's your history lesson of this week. Yeah, so it's good
How
history.
long are the Scots war skirts? When did that come in?
Okay, so let me just find out. How long have Scots... Mate,
Just literally, we're doing this for
long?
homework for the Edinburgh crash course. So we just want to make sure that we're educated and we don't look like morons.
Well, you're doing a good job. How long have Scottish war kilts? My internet's dropped off. I can't
know.
search.
If you do know, please comment below. Let us know.
I know they were wearing them when they kicked England's ass, but
When did that happen?
during Braveheart. Okay.
Didn't you lose at the end? Didn't he die?
Yeah, but that's at the end. Still won. You lot run off crying back to your mamas, but
But the end, that's kind of the important bit, isn't it? Like the end of the game, who was winning at the time.
no.
It's the
Anyway,
Although I do agree, I wanted the Scottish to win in the film.
yeah.
They betrayed us.
Do you know?
rather
I
badly.
actually watched. I watched Braveheart recently.
Of course you do. That's what you do every night. You just sit there
Every
going,
night I-
freedom,
I go home.
freedom, financial freedom.
No, I do not.
He does.
I watched about 2-3 months ago.
Drinking some Scotch whiskey.
Drinking some Scotch whiskey with some Scotch eggs. Yeah.
Wearing a skirt.
We're wearing a skirt. Come on, dude.
Right, anyway, moving on. It's now time for this. Okay, so it's now time for your questions and our answers. If you don't know where to ask us questions, if you jump on the Property Investors with Samuel Leeds Facebook group, and we'll ask away. We normally do like a little Facebook Live, and you can ask in there. So here's the first question. This is from Ross Perkins. What property characteristics... If I could talk, it'd be a much better podcast. What property characteristics to look for looking... Okay, in all fairness, to me, it is very badly written. Look for looking for a rent-to-rent.
What?
I don't know. Basically, I think the question is, what do you look for in a property when you're looking for a rent-to-rent?
All right.
What characteristics do you look for?
Okay.
Not in the landlord, in the property.
Okay, so in the property, it depends if it's rent to rent, HMO, rent to rent, service accommodation, because it's very different criteria.
Okay, well,
So let's just go service accommodation.
Go service
accommodation. Okay. What it needs characteristics: easy access, parking, good location, somewhere that's
Close to the city
busy,
centre.
close to the city centre. Somewhere that's busy, close to the city centre. Somewhere that people actually want to go. Some place that's good for business.
Like Edinburgh?
Edinburgh.
But not Glasgow.
Glasgow's good, mate. It's on the up. Yeah, it's on the up.
What about that place your parents live?
Stranraer, no. That would be holiday lets, but not for service accommodation. Holiday lets side of service accommodation. Bearing in mind that the biggest user of service accommodation is actually business users.
Mm-hmm.
So it needs to be city centre, good location, good transport links.
Nice.
Modern. It doesn't have to be modern, but it has to be nice. So like the cottage in Oxford is not modern,
True.
but it's very nice. Has to be well presented, tidy, clean. Has to have some sort of way of checking in, checking out, because you don't want to be going manually with the keys every night. Big thing.
It is, and I remember when I went to the Oxford property, we put a key safe there, but I couldn't find it.
Well, yeah, it's on the step as you get.
Because
to
it was
the
like I
front
got there
door.
at night.
It's dark, yeah.
And I couldn't literally I was like, where the hell? I remember ringing you. It was like
Yeah.
midnight. I was like, where the hell is the key safe? So
And I ignored his call, and I
did.
texted back and said, "Ring my manager."
he actually did. He's a bastard.
Get lost.
Scottish bastard.
Wow, that was hard. Why don't you just throw in a Scottish bastard who wears a skirt? Like, do you know what I mean?
Do you wear skirts?
Oh, okay, go on. No, I wear kilts, bro.
Do you though? Really?
Not on a day-to-day basis. I don't
Have
wear
you-
one when I go to Tesco's.
Do you like regularly though? Like once a year?
No, last time I wore it was at a wedding,
When was that?
like 2 years ago.
Got any pictures?
I have got pictures.
Can we get them?
No.
Come on.
I don't mind because I'm proud. I'm a proud Scot.
Good.
Right, go. Okay. This is a question from Liam Brewster. Alasdair, it's from me. He's not interested in anything you've got to say.
I'm not surprised.
How about, what was the best piece of advice you were given that stuck with you whilst you were learning and becoming financially free? I'll tell you the best bit of advice.
Was it from me?
No, it was not from you.
Was it from Samuel?
I don't actually remember who it was from.
It was me.
The best bit of advice was to not give up, because
I told you that.
Yeah, I know you did. I know you did.
Don't give up.
Don't give up, bro. Just don't give up, because if you want success and if you want financial freedom and if you want to live the life on your terms, it's going to take sacrifice. It's going to take hard work. It's going to take sacrifice, and it's going to mean you have to do things that you wouldn't normally do. I.e., getting uncomfortable. It means you're going to have to make them phone calls you don't normally make. It means you're going to have to go meet them agents you don't normally meet. You're going to have to put yourself out there, stand on stage, tell people what you're doing. You're going to have to learn to get uncomfortable, because you're never going to grow unless you do that. Unless you get out of your comfort zone, you're never going to grow. I think it was probably actually Russell. I think it might well have been. He used to just don't give up, mate. Just even when I was at lowest points where I felt like I was getting nowhere, I would speak to Russell, Samuel, other people in the academy, other people in the same group that I was in, and I would use some of their successes as a catalyst to me. So I wouldn't see them, like there was one guy who was buying houses. He was just buying lots of houses, and I'm like, I looked there was moments where I would think, I wish I was in that position where I could buy these houses. But I never once got to a point where I was jealous of that person. I was like, look, if he can do it, I can do it. So just don't give up, and use other people's successes as fuel to your fire of you can do it. Because at the end of the day, we are paving the way for you. We're showing you that it's possible. We're showing you, we're doing it. We're doing this. I do it day in, day out. So I'm not at a point now where I'm completely hands off from my businesses. Most, like Better Source, I'm like 90% hands off, but I still actively work on it.
Still go out and view properties.
Yeah, of course I do.
In the grind.
So we are clearing the path, so you can. It's easier for you if you come along and do the training. But it's still going to be hard work. You're still going to have to put the graft in. You're still going to have to get your hands dirty, and you're still going to have to put up with the shit from Russell. Like all the jokes. Like I have to put up with this every day, and that wears me down. Believe me. Now I'm kidding. Listen, I love it. Okay, so
it's
just
funny
keep going.
He's actually really mean to me off camera. He suddenly turns into the victim on camera.
I'm like, please don't hit me. It's like whatever. No, listen. Best bit of advice: keep going. Don't stop. You only fail when you give up, and you only fail when you stop. So just keep going. Get up and keep going.
Keep going, get up and keep going. Like it. There you go. You heard it here first. Norman Ekins-Bell. Or Ekins-Bell. One of the t'other. I'm genuinely starting from being in debt, which I'm paying off out of my wage each month. Bad credit, etc. from a breakup of a marriage. I don't want to give up because of my circumstances, and was wondering if you feel I'm being unrealistic. My plan is to pay debt off whilst learning property, or even if I can source or rent to SA, etc. to bring in extra cash to start quicker. I also have a mortgage on my ex-wife with some equity in, and she would like me to buy her out. Any advice would be great.
Yeah, Norman. Okay, so what I'd say is, firstly, get a very clear understanding of where you stand out, where you are financially. If you've not done it, I'm sure you have done it, because if you're going through a marriage split, I'm sure you've done this, but you really need to have a good understanding of where you're at financially. How much money you need every month to just stand still, to not profit, just literally stand still. How much money do you need every month to cover your liabilities with regards to your existing debt, and to live and to have food on the table and things like that. And then whatever you've got spare, start using money management skills. So do you know we talk about the jars at the crash course now and again, where we talk about the money jars, the 6 money jars, and start allocating a percentage of your money to them money jars every month.
I wouldn't
when
get
you get paid.
too hung up on the debt. You've got the debt. Set up a payment plan
as long as
you can
it's
afford,
covered for. Yeah.
And just slowly, if it's bad debt, you don't want bad debt, so you want to slowly pay that off, but don't stress about the debt.
Yeah, I wouldn't get as long as you're paying it, that's fine, because you don't want it affecting your credit report, because then when it comes down the line, maybe a year's time, you don't want to have bad credit. But just to clarify, let's clarify.
Also, with the mortgage, personally, if it's equity in it, I'd be like selling that.
Yeah,
don't buy her out.
Well, by the sounds of it, she's probably wanting to buy him out, her back, because she doesn't want to move. I don't know.
Well, but she wants him to buy her out.
Yeah, so she wants to stay there. But by the sounds of what you've just given us, I don't know the situation.
Does she?
She wants him to buy her out, yeah. So she'll want to stay there, and she'll want him to buy... Oh, or the other way around. She wants to go, she wants the money. Yeah. So then sell it. Okay, yeah, absolutely. Point. I
would sell the house.
Yeah.
But then I wouldn't use that money to pay off the debt.
Rent.
Unless you need to. Use that money to invest. If you've got equity in the house, bring money in. Do you know... When it comes to... Also, see, here's the thing, right? People go on about deal sourcing. Right? Deal sourcing is a job.
It's a job, yeah. 100% it's a job. It's not passive. So, unless you systemize it entirely. But even my deal sourcing business is very systemized.
It's a business.
But it's still active.
It's difficult. I think it's difficult to do on the side.
Deal sourcing, yeah.
I think you've got to...
You're in or you're out.
Yeah. You could do it on the side if you were prepared to spend like evenings and Saturdays, but you then basically have two jobs, which would be hard and stressful. So if you're working, and you've got a good job, unless you want to give up and go into deal sourcing, which is obviously another thing. Yeah. But then it's kind of replacing a good job. It's very, very, very profitable job. For sure. So that could be something you looked at, but I would look at selling the house, using that to invest. There's lots of... most of our training is free. Most of our training that we provide, 99% of our customers only use our free stuff, which is the crash course, which is free for 2 days. Yeah. You've got obviously
YouTube,
the best training, the more advanced, the best training is paid for.
Yeah.
But YouTube, podcasts, crash course. If you haven't got any money, take advantage of that for sure. I would sell your house. Use the equity, get off a payment plan, start paying off your debt, and it's not unrealistic, man. You plan it. To me, it sounds like you're smart. You keep
just
going.
Just be careful about it. Like, don't sell your house, get all the equity out of it, and go out and buy a bloody fancy car. Use that money to invest, where you're going to get a good return every month. Or use the money to get yourself back on your feet.
Yeah. We don't know
whatever you do.
Don't situation. We don't know your job. We don't know the ins and outs. But by what you've said, it doesn't sound unrealistic to me.
Whatever. All I'd say is, whatever you do, don't get further into bad debt. If you've got any bad debt, try and avoid that. If you don't know the difference between good debt and bad debt, buy Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, and he will explain good debt, bad debt. But just sum up: bad debt is where you're taking out debt or finance to buy things that aren't going to give you an asset, so such as cars, clothes, holidays. Good debt is like a mortgage. A mortgage is good debt because you're taking it out, you're buying an asset which will increase in value and give you cash flow, and it will pay for itself. Okay, so that's good debt, that's bad debt. But Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
And obviously unaffordable. It's good debt if you can afford to pay it. If it's unaffordable debt, it's bad debt.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks ever so much for tuning in this week. Really appreciate your views, comments, your love. Please do check us out everywhere. Like, subscribe, and we will see. And sorry for all the Scottish people.
He's a nice guy, honestly. He loves Scotland.
I'm only messing with Alasdair. See you next week.
See you guys.